that. So let's talk about the first item, Scott McGilvery, renovating unfinished and unused spaces. Worth it or not worth it?
This one is worth it. I am telling you right now, it is. It has been off the charts busy in the construction and renovation world for the last several months. Trying to film the show right now. I mean, we've got shortages of materials, we've got shortages of trades. However, what's happening, and I mean, even working with builders, is people are reconfiguring layouts in their houses. And people are rethinking the spaces they have. And the more compartmentalized, believe it or not, and the more spaces that you have that you can get away to, the better right now. And that's what everyone's looking for. So is it worth it? Absolutely. If you have an unfinished basement, it might be time to finish that basement. We've been doing attics, bunkies, finishing parts of garages off, and just basically transforming unused or underutilized spaces into yoga rooms, into offices, into workout spaces, really just, creating more opportunities for people to have space at home that they can use.
Exactly. I hear it and I see it all the time. So it is worth it. Updating, I know I was going to say before we do the next one, knocking down walls. That's a dangerous thing. But, like floor plans have really changed. Remember all those open concept things? And now it seems like we need more privacy. And then now they're talking about knocking down walls. Do you think it's worth it or not?
Right now, going with an open concept and knocking down the walls, not worth it. And that's the first time I've ever said this in my career. In fact, I remember 2 years ago, we got a note from the network at HGTV. They said, Scott, we're sending this to all of our talent, all of our shows. There's two things that we don't want to see or hear on the show this season because we've got too much of it. And one of the terms was, we don't want to hear open concept. And the other thing they said, no more high fives. There's been too many high fives, too many people high fiving on the show. So open concept is like been this forbidden thing where every episode is just open concept. Well, now, ironically, open concept is a bit of a faux pas. People are looking to compartmentalize a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, the kitchen living space, of course, people are still thinking they want that open so that they can gather with their friends in the future. But right now, people are actually looking at how to close things off. They're trying to be a little more private. They're trying to get more spaces into smaller places. So this is not the time to all of a sudden go wide open concept, because that's not necessarily the trend moving forward.
We were talking about it on Chum Radio this morning about, remember a long time ago, you and I talked about this too, she sheds, you'd have that shed in the backyard and sheds, and then that kind of died. Well, now people are they're looking at their sheds differently, going, can I get Wi-Fi out there? Can I renovate that? Can I do that? Because my house is open concept and I need a space for me. So you're dead on. I'm working with like 2 shed companies, and we are doing she sheds, he sheds, you sheds, and we sheds, and all these different spaces outdoors. People are going like they can't even get enough supplies to build these things. But and so it's awesome. I mean, this year on our show, we've done so many unique spaces because of everything that's going on. It's really given us an opportunity to evolve, which is great. Well, one person said, it was a quote, I just want to feel like I'm going to work, going somewhere. So there you have it. I said, okay, that means it's true. If you just want to walk across your backyard, get to that shed, you do that. Now, I want to talk to you about worth it or not worth it, updating safety products and procedures. I think I know the answer to this, but tell us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely worth it. And this one is something that we really have to think about, and I don't think it's been on the forefront of people's minds enough, especially since we're finishing basements, we're putting, she sheds and he sheds, and finishing attics and putting offices and garages. A lot of people are doing this quickly. They're doing it with like a local handyman or handywoman. And although it might not be complicated because there might not be plumbing or major electrical, safety is a big, big, big one. If you're going to be finishing a portion of your garage, You have to think about insulating. You have to think about having interconnected smoke alarms. So, because these are spaces you're going to be spending a ton of time in. And even with the vacation properties that we're doing, like you said, we're doing these cottages, which are these work and play from anywhere type ideas where people are moving up to the cottage. So we're building these outdoor offices and these little offsite offices. We're insulating them. We're putting in interconnected smoke alarms. So if something happens in the house, you can hear it out there. Simple things like for under $100, you can get I brought these from my kitchen. I got my kitchen's.
What's that?
Here we go. Fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher.
Woo!
I don't know why people don't have fire extinguishers. You got to bring your fire extinguishers. And again, the other thing is we're at home so much now. I've been looking at some of the statistics, and they're talking about the amount of kitchen fires that are happening because everybody's cooking from home. So just taking an extra precaution in the house. You want to talk about the best return on investment? It's being safe, right? We always talk about return on lifestyle and return on investment. So right now, if you're thinking about upgrading a space in your home, don't forget how to make it part of your escape plan for the house. Don't forget that every 600 square feet of finished space needs to have a fire extinguisher. So interconnected smoke and CO alarms, especially if you're doing a garage, need to have a CO alarm in there, and wireless or plugged in, best way to go.
Okay, good points for sure. How about soundproofing? I mean, not to say that, it's noisy, but it can get noisy. And is it worth it or not worth it? And how much does it take to actually do it properly?
So this has been, for me, when I started doing income property 15 years ago, and we started soundproofing in between units, I started getting a ton of questions. People like, I've never heard of this before. I've never seen it before. But as a landlord, what I used to tell people is the number one challenge I had with multi-unit properties is people can hear the other tenants and they're complaining about noise. So for me, it was a big thing when you have so many people living in a property to do sound separation. Well, now we've got lots of people at home a lot of the time. And if you're going to be putting up walls, if you're going to be finishing a space, there's such a small investment to add that, safe and sound insulation in the wall. It can be done yourself. It's not too complicated. And it just soundproofs the space. With vacation properties, we're constantly doing this, because it's about beds and heads when you're building a vacation rental property. And if you got 4 bedrooms all kind of back to back to back, you want to make sure there's soundproofing. So, for instance, even me here at home in my office, I've soundproofed all the walls here because I wanted this to be a quiet space, and thank goodness, because the kids are running around, the doors are opening and closing. There's so many. My wife's was teaching from home for how many months in the room across the hall. We're like competing. So having that soundproofing is going to give you so much peace of mind down the road.
That is. And the other thing I was thinking about the other day, and think about wall-to-wall carpeting. Some people are thinking, I'm going to replace my carpeting.
You were thinking about that?
Worth it or not worth it? Yeah, because our basement really needs it to change it up. Like the house is about 13, 14 years old, and it's been really well used. We bought a bike, we got the exercise room, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's time. So is it worth it or not?
I'm going to let you know this one, in my experience, not worth it. Not worth it. I know that it feels cozy, and traditionally we've seen lots of carpets in bedrooms. We've seen lots of carpets in basements. I just find that it holds a lot of moisture. It can be a lot of maintenance. It's not super pet friendly. And so if you have the opportunity, especially with the products we now have, you used to have very few options. It was tile or hardwood, right? Or carpet. And now you've got luxury vinyl tiles. You have advanced engineered hardwood products, which all perform in a much superior way than carpet would in spaces like a basement, as long as you have an underlayment that's appropriate, like a DMX one-step type system where you can lay proper flooring on top of it. You're going to get more life out of it. You're going to get more value out of it. So wall-to-wall carpeting, for me, when I see people doing that, I'm like, that's going to cost you in 5 to 7 years when it's time to do it again.